Hey guys, I'm Jake from TodaysiPhone.com, and this is the Verizon iPhone. Now, in my unboxing video, we went over the hardware changes, software changes, and just some minor differences between this and the AT&T version. But now we're going to go a bit more in depth into the antenna redesign, as well as the speed of this device versus the iPhone 4 on AT&T. Now, one of the biggest supposed differences between these two devices is the redesign of the antenna system. As you can see here on the right side, there is an extra little black strip here where there is not on the AT&T iPhone. On the top, this strip has been moved from next to the headphone jack on the AT&T iPhone to down here by the mute ringer switch on the Verizon iPhone. And this little infamous left corner strip is still the same. Now, the reason behind the redesign of the antenna system is the death grip issue. Basically what it is if you cover this bottom left corner with your hand, bridging the gap between these two strips of the metal antenna, it severely decreases your signal. So let's just see if I'm covering this up, and let's watch. So you can see one bar dropping off there. There's another one. Now, this is the problem that was supposed to be fixed on the Verizon iPhone. And early reports from the Apple hands-on at the launch of the Verizon iPhone said that this was not an issue with the new device. But recently, some stories have been flooding the web that say that this does plague the Verizon iPhone just as much as the AT&T iPhone. Now, I took a quick look at this in the unboxing video, but let's go a bit more in depth in it. So I'm going to call Apple. And for those of you who are wondering, I got a couple questions on my last video about this little blinking light at the top. It's not a blinking light. You can see the screen turns off when I put my finger over it. That's the proximity sensor. It's just infrared and it shows up on the camera, but not to the naked eye. Okay, so if I'm covering up this bottom strip, we're going to check out the Verizon signal, see if it holds up. We are having some signal depletion. It doesn't look as bad. Okay, so there is a significant loss of signal when covering up that bottom strip. So we were able to get this down to just 1 bar. As you can see, it is still holding on to the call, but the signal, which was at 4 bars now, is down to just 1. And you can see if I let go of the bottom left corner, the signal should start to come back. Yeah, there we go. So unfortunately, guys, oh, that was not a dropped call, that was Apple ending the call. But unfortunately, it seems as though the death grip issue does appear on the Verizon iPhone just as it does on the AT&T iPhone. That being said, most of the people that use these devices are putting them in a case anyway, and the case immediately solves the problem. So in the long run, it's annoying that you can't hold your phone without a case in that certain position, but most people are going to be using a case anyway, so it's not a huge problem. It is disappointing that it does appear, especially with the antenna redesign, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is a speed test between these two devices. Okay, so as you can see, I have today's iPhone loaded up on both the AT&T and the Verizon iPhone. So let's just get this. I will press go at the same time, and I will hold the devices like so, as to not impair any speed from the antenna, which, as we have recently learned, is impaired on both devices. So. Okay, now, they were both pretty fast. The Verizon iPhone was a bit faster. Now, keep in mind that this is a mobile site. Okay, now we're going to see how these phones do loading the PhoneDog website, which does not have a mobile version. So, which means that there are going to be more images, and it's going to be harder to load than the Today's iPhone mobile page. Okay, the Verizon iPhone is getting a good head start. Seems to be stopped, though. Oh, okay, well, the Verizon iPhone is still loading. AT&T is almost done. That's very interesting. It seemed as though the Verizon iPhone was going to be way ahead of AT&T at first, but as you can see, AT&T is done loading and Verizon just finished. Wow, that's a pretty big difference. I don't know if that has to do with where I am or But Verizon is still loading. It's not done yet. Okay, Verizon is finally done, and that was a pretty significant difference. AT&T came out way on top in that speed test. Now keep in mind that technically AT&T's 3G network is faster than Verizon's. The only reason that AT&T has been going, so terribly lately is the bogged down network from all the data usage from us iPhone users. But just to make sure I wasn't interfering with the antenna at all, I'm going to load up PhoneDog again and put the phones down on the table so there is no interference whatsoever. Verizon taking an early lead. But again, AT&T was faster. Now this time Verizon was faster than before. I don't know if I was covering up the antenna or not, but let's see who finishes first. AT&T is done, and Verizon is done. So on both tests for the data-intensive and image-intensive site, AT&T came out on top, and for the mobile site, Verizon came out on top. Okay, well that's it for this time, guys. Now, if you have any comments or questions, you can let me know in the comment section down below, right down there, or you can follow me on Twitter at TIPJake, and I'll answer your questions to the best of my abilities. And don't forget, for more news, views, and reviews, definitely check out todaysiphone.com.